there was a grandmother who was responsible for taking her kindergarten child to school. And the child was not adapting well, nor was easy to get to kindergarten. However, the grandmother knew that he loved the scarecrows at the community garden, and so she would bring him here to see the scarecrows. When he was here, he was already 2/3 of the way to school, and so it was easy to get him there. In the fall of 2009, the Davidson United Methodist Church had a garden club. My wife was a member of that garden club, and in the fall, one of the ministers suggested the idea of a community garden. My wife raised her hand and said, "That's a great idea," and before we knew it, she was in charge of it. I got involved from the very first in working as a lot is in the volunteer times and in between. And when I retired from the YMCA in 2013, I became co-coordinator with Connie, and so I've been more involved then, particularly in outreach to community groups and college groups that come in during the week. My wife came up with the philosophy of 10 some, take some, share a lot, and it's related to the mission in that we give most of our produce to the community food pantry. There are at least two ways of doing community gardens. Ours is the way that donates to a food pantry.
The food pantry at Ada Jenkins is a Loaves and Fishes food pantry partner, so it's really a part of a network of pantries around Mecklenburg County. We are a client shop model, which means that people come to the pantry and they don't just get food handed to them, they actually shop for the food themselves. So that looks like someone coming in to check in for a pantry, appointment, and they get paired with a volunteer, and that volunteer walks them through the food groups in the pantry, and they get to shop based on the family size.
This aisle, you would see very clearly this is grains going into vegetables. You see here that there's fruit, and then there's protein down here at the end. So that's how the pantry is set up, is in food groups, so the families can follow their shopping guide and get a nutritionally balanced meal based on each section and how much they would get in each section for their family.
One client came through and said, "Wow, look, real food," and that was an enjoyable kind of thing for us to hear from the clients. The produce that we give the food pantry vary by seasons. In the spring and fall, we have more like lettuce and spinach and chard, carrots sometimes. These are more of the fall and spring vegetables. In the summer, we'll have okra and tomatoes and peppers. Those would be a few examples. Squash kind of straddled the seasons, and we're still getting some squash in the fall. So those are some examples of the food.
Each summer, each spring, each fall, the amount of vegetables that we get varies on the week based on, the growing season, how much water we've had. Is it lettuce versus sweet potatoes? It may be 20 pounds, it may be 40 pounds. We may get as much as a ton in one growing season through one spring, summer to the fall. The community garden is absolutely vital to us being able to provide the maximum amount of nutrition to our client members as we can. Without the garden, we have to rely on the Loaves and Fishes trucks, the grocery stores bringing us the bruised tomatoes, the brown bananas, the lettuce that has been picked over. With the garden, we get these fresh picked vegetables. We know they're going to be there. When we come in, the clients are coming in, we know that we're going to have fresh produce every time we come in, which is a great benefit to the clients themselves because they can pick and choose what they want, make those great recipes, however it is that they want to cook them.
They're going to look at it and say, this isn't a pantry, this is like a little mini store. And I don't have to feel at my most vulnerable because someone is taking care of me at this point, and they've set it up in a respectful manner. So really, as the pantry coordinator, the thing that means the most to me is seeing from the stocking team to the donations that come in the door, and then to the people shopping and going out the door to their cars to load the groceries. It's knowing that they were offered respect the whole entire time.
In addition to the organic approach to gardening, we've also used a no-till method. We've enriched the soil without tearing up the basic earth, injuring worms, or turning up weed seeds. So we feel like this is an important key to a productive and healthy garden. Particularly with those needy persons, it provides a way to combat food insecurity.
Food insecurity is a pretty large thing and an elusive thing to describe, just because you can't really wrap your mind around how someone's food insecure, but it's really about access, affordability, and the quality of the food.
It's when you are, when a person or a family have anxieties about not getting the quality or the quantity of food that they need, usually a financial problem. The food insecurity is helped by the community garden because of its mission, which is to provide fresh produce to families using the Ada Jenkins food pantry. And so that enables them once every several weeks to get a week's worth of food, and the food from here is different than most of the food, which is in cans or bags. So this is fresh produce, which is healthy and also enjoyable for the clients of the food pantry.
Basically because we don't get fresh produce really any other way. We know each growing season the community garden is going to provide us produce to the best of their ability, and they're providing almost a literal ton of produce in I think the last growing season.
The community garden is a big help in bringing nutrition to the pantry, in that without the pantry, all of our fruits and vegetables would come out of a can. Volunteers at the community garden, they will harvest, they have their own key, and so they bring it, they drop it off, and then when we get here, our people who stock our shelves get here, they can see what produce it is and put it out, and it gets put into our refrigerator, and then it gets pulled out there to the shelves from the volunteers at the community garden.
In terms of volunteering, we have one day a week that all volunteers are invited in. We have a weekly update that goes out to email addresses, and we get anywhere from, say, 10 to 30 volunteers on that one day. And that is our primary functioning day of garden. The food is not for them, although they take just a little bit, but nobody really takes much at all. And I think they get the benefit of knowing that it goes to a good place. They also get the benefit of making friends in a healthy and exercise-rich environment, and I think some recognition of being involved in something worthy.
It's every day. I realize, the gravity of what we're doing in the food pantry, because it does seem like one of those quick emergency or crisis service, but it's about the integrity in which you offer that service. And so as someone who coordinates and does the more high level and not the one-on-one shopping with people, that's where my focus is always going to be, is the integrity that we can offer. And again, that partnership with the community garden makes that happen. That when we have produce to offer, when we have real food to offer people, that it's going to change their experience when they walk into the pantry.